Recording in process. Progress.
Showtime.
What if I hit leave? Tell me.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Fall Demo Listen Derby. I'm Tish Hicks. I'm the Master Sensei of the Dojo here in Burbank, California, and I am joined by Ryan Ricks and Brittany Cox. Brian.
Ryan and Brittany.
Brian and Brittany. Ryan Ricks and Brittany Cox of Next Level Voice Demo, our demo producers here at the Dojo. And this is a little thing we do twice a year that allows us to really make transparent the process of what happens when someone listens to your demo. So we're going to do what we call running the gauntlet. We'll listen to this. It's so great. So many people are here and so many demos have been shared. We like to say that we share or deliver our demos. We don't submit. We like to use empowering language around everything that we do here at the dojo. So we don't submit our demos. Please, please, please. We deliver our product. So thank you for all your deliveries. And we'll listen through a bunch in a certain time frame to run through a gauntlet, and I'll share that in a second. I'm going to have Brittany and Ryan introduce themselves, and then we'll talk about how we're going to do what we're going to do. If you haven't already, we'd love to hear where you're from. And obviously, if you sent your demo, if you delivered your demo, we know you have a demo. And if you haven't, then we'll know where you're at. And just want to set some parameters for what this is. And it's also really mindset work about everything, because when we do send in our things that are our samples of us, and we are looking to make connection, it's a vulnerable thing. It can be, and it can seem personal, and it's so not personal. So everything that we are sharing here will be from our positive, constructive, in your
We lost her.
Oh no.
The gauntlet is very strong.
It ate Tish. So I guess we'll carry on where she continued. Hi guys, I'm Brittany Cox, and yes, exactly what Tish said. Today we're here to demystify the process of demos, how people are listening, what happens to your demo once you send it out to agents, clients, and casting. Everything, our goal today, to kind of continue on where Tish was talking, is to give you actionable feedback. If your demo is working for you and opening the doors that you want it to open, fantastic. If not, hopefully today we can give you some things to look at and some actionable steps to take to maybe start opening those doors.
There she is.
She came back.
Oh, you're muted.
Oh, you're muted, Tish. And I was continuing on from where you stopped.
Awesome. That was sexy. Yay. Okay. Yeah. So where did you get to?
I was talking about actionable feedback, and we're all that.
Excellent. Good. And if we don't listen, if we don't get to listen to everything that you have shared with us today, there will be time, and we would love to spend time with you and give you even more actionable feedback. Like everything at the dojo, what you think and know is always more important than what anybody else thinks and knows, and not like, hey, I know everything, but just to trust your instincts and to receive with understanding that you're driving your car, and that we're here to say, here's our insights. This is how we've gotten to places. So I think hopefully it's all on the same page. But we are acknowledging that sharing a little piece of you is a vulnerable thing. And so thank you. Thank you for being here and trusting us with that. And this is a really powerful thing to have this many people here to witness the sharing and witness the process helps us all, right? So, cool. Did you guys introduce yourselves? Did you say a little bit about who you are?
Not quite yet. So, yeah, so I guess we'll do that real quick. So, like I said, guys, hi, I'm Brittany Cox. I am a voice actor and director here in Los Angeles. I work predominantly in commercial video game and animation. Some of my clients recently include Liberty Mutual, Staples, Sonic Drive-In, Amazon Microsoft, Providence Hospital. And some of my more character-based work, I'm Fischl in Genshin Impact, Ingrid in Fire Emblem, Bella in Rainbow High, and various characters across the Pokemon universe, to name a few. And this is my delightful husband, Ryan.
Hello, everybody. Thank you again for joining us on this happy Wednesday. The cool thing about Brittany and I's collaboration is Brittany's coming to things from the voice acting side of things, and I'm coming from the voice casting and audio post-production side of things as well. I got my start in the industry through the voice casting side of things, working at an Emmy Award-winning studio up in Seattle before we came down to Los Angeles. And so a lot of the insights and mindsets and stuff we're going to talk about today are coming from my direct experience there and what that means. So I feel like it's going to be really helpful to give you context about when your demo goes out into the void, what happens, and what the expectations are based on what your goals are and all of these things. And then on the flip side of that, now I work primarily in audio post-production, doing sound design, writing music, and doing a lot of mixing and stuff. And you can hear my work across Hulu, Netflix, HBO, and a variety of other places like that. So, between the two of us, we are next level voice demos and are so excited to be here.
Oh,
whoa! Now we're being recorded.
Hello.
Sorry about that.
For you guys, no matter what region you're in, where you're located, industry standard today for a commercial demo is 60 seconds. You want to get as close to that 60 seconds as possible, which I know sounds so tiny and all that stuff. How I like to tell people of well, you're an actor, you can do so many different things and include so many different things. Think of it like you want to leave them wanting more, right? Whoever's listening to this demo, leave them wanting more, wanting to get more out of you, hear some more things, really talk to you. So if you pare it down to a minute, that's a great way to do that.
Indeed. And I would say for this particular demo, because we heard some of the same energies throughout, there's a lot of opportunities for cutting that stuff down and being even more specific so that we get more contrast and we get to those different energies in this kind of roller coaster-esque experience, so that it's not a scenario where we're clicking through and feeling like we're getting that one note vibe, because that's what we always want to avoid. And I don't think this person is one note at all. I think it's just the structure of the demo could use some shuffling about and some creative editing to get it down to that 60-second mark and tighten everything up.
What about you, Tish?
The things that I loved about this is that it did take me, even on that little bit of a ride that we went, I was like, "Ooh, well, yeah, okay, I'm with it." And another thing that I often listen to is there was the piece about the film, the cinema, that made my go oh wow, yeah.
I really like that one too.
It opened my heart, and I remembered what it was for, which is ultimately what we want to do with commercials. We don't say, "Oh yeah, that was a funny spot. What was that thing for?" No, we want to be like, "Oh, the cinema. That's what I want to do." But that feeling that goes through you, is oh yes. And I got a really, really good sense of who this person is from the
Absolutely.
Great. So hopefully the feedback just in hearing these first two demos is starting to kind of turn some wheels in a different way of oh, I can hear the quality thing. Oh, I can hear how this hits differently than another thing. And so let's keep going down the rabbit hole and let's bop up to the next demo.
Charles.
Let's
But
see.
actually, are we going to put Ora in the callback round?
I'll flag it in case we want to revisit it.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Put a color on it.
I'll put a color on it.
There we go. So we know to come back.
Boom. Done.
Haha.
All right, let's go to Charles.
Here, superheroes wear scrubs. And the real magic is the laughter that action. Embrace the to get $100 in free bets. Sign up today and get in on the action. Was not expecting an airport lounge to be nicer than. I'm seeing frequent flyer status in my future.
This is so interesting because I feel like Charles' performances are being let down by the structure and production of the demo.
Yeah, I agree. I like it. There's something about it that just doesn't quite feel real. And for me, it's a little confusing because I'm like, I don't know if it's the production or if it's the pacing. There's just something that keeps me from connecting to it.
Like
I
would.
Oh, go ahead. Mm-hmm.
Oh no, I was just gonna say that it's to try and like clarify what's in my head of like when I listened to that, I heard like a lot of background elements like people chatting and things like that, like you're in a bar and a thing, which sometimes is super appropriate because the voiceover is happening on top of like real people doing real things, which is great. But then clicking through when all of the spots were like that and they all had the same pacing, and I felt like it was almost like, I feel like Charles has a lot more to show, and I felt like he was being like reined in by all this stuff. Like it almost felt like, let me go, I want to do more things. And it was like, no, because this is what the demo is and this is what it is. And so I feel like in this instance, as a demo, I don't trust it because it feels false. But in the context of this event, I feel like Charles has a lot more to offer and is just as a talent and is being let down by the structure and the content and the overall design of this demo.
Oh. No, for me, I had a good oh, who is this guy? What I'd like to spend more time with it from that first piece.
Yeah.
Like it's in like variations of a color of a good guy. Like which obviously we commercial demos are always the positive, even if you have snark in it, it's always in the positive. So I see where it could be like, oh yeah, what else, what other range could there be? However, from that heart hit from the first one, I thought that really anchored, oh, I know who this guy is, and that was very relatable and believable. So the heart hit went a long way for me on that. And then what else could go even further? Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I feel like definitely some missed opportunities there for sure in terms of showcasing a more specific point of view and bringing in different energy and pacing and being specific about what the commercials are.
And the production choices with that.
Yeah. Because it's really important. You know, when we're watching a Jeep commercial, Jeep commercials have a very specific vibe, and that vibe changes every few months. Like sometimes they're pushing like the rugged outdoor thing, and so you get a lot of heavy impact kind of trailer music, and you get a lot of beautiful wide panorama vistas of these Jeeps, and you can hear them driving past the camera and all of this stuff.
Versus like a Target where it's like all music, no production.
Exactly. And so this is why authenticity, and we're going to just keep harping on it, and knowing how commercials sound and feel, or working with demo producers that understand how these things sound and feel, so that we're not just doing things to do things.
Yeah.
We're doing things to make sure that they feel authentic to where they actually exist out in the world, so that when a perfect stranger hears it, there is nothing to distract them from connecting with you.
Yeah.
And I feel like to synthesize it all down, that's what happened with Charles, is there were too many distractions
Past that first
that
spot.
I couldn't connect with what he was bringing, and I kind of tuned out and was ready to move on to the next. And we don't want that. We want to eliminate distractions.
And for me, I was able to get through the distractions in here. The other thing about these three, I think of in terms of polish, like for me, for me, it seemed like Lisa's was most polished, Charles then the next, and then Ara's maybe of these the most authentic. And then it's great here, guys. I'm seeing in the chat. Other points of view are coming in. Your experience is different. That's fantastic. Keep on honing into what you're listening to and what you respond to. That's
Indeed.
really important. Let's keep
Yeah.
on going. See if we can get a
Yeah.
little rhythm going. Maybe we'll talk less and
No, we don't ever talk less.
For me, allergy season is like a horror movie. There's always something terrifying lurking around the next corner. And bad. We're taught early on that it's not good to brag, so get the car that does. And because it goes on easy, it's perfect for any project. Warm, gooey, and made with love, Cracker Barrel's cinnamon roll breakfast pies are the best.
There are so many fun moments in this. Tish, what did you hear to get us started?
Well, I hear it's interesting. The first thing was that something sounded the same, like there was a similarity, but variations within. And then as I listened more, I was able to like it's a really kind of it has a get the job done in a sort of warm announcery voice, but also like this little something that's kind of special that has that's a little like, oh, that's really unique. That really draws me in. Yeah, I can definitely hear differentiation, although in a very similar palette.
Yeah, I agreed. I love the vocal. Like, what an interesting voice, which goes to show not there is room for every voice. In that first spot, like I was like, oh, I feel like I've heard that. Like that sounds totally real. And then yeah, I think for me, I would be interested to see if they can change up their pacing a bit more, because I felt like even though occasionally we would have slightly different energies, the pacing all felt the same. So for me, that would be something interesting to explore. But I mean, for that vocal type and that type of performance, I mean, it was, yeah, I know who this person is.
Right on.
Yeah.
Cool. Bounce to the next.
Bounce to the next.
All right, let's do it.
Do you know about the go-to shopping destination for any clothing style, trend, and or you could work happy? HP, the rules for success have changed. From everywhere with DoorDash. The style of an icon with a powertrain from secure your freedom. Star Wars Outlaws. Experience the first ever open world.
Okay, energy range.
Yeah, super interesting.
Yeah.
I like this, I get a sense of who this person is. Like, I feel like they're like super cool, you know, really relatable with like a cool kind of edge to them.
Yeah.
But can also have like a guy next door kind of vibe at times, which was nice. I would say, from my ear in the production realm, even though the performances and stuff were like hit or miss for me, in terms of like being dialed in and feeling really grounded and authentic for that particular thing, I felt like the production choices were masking a lot of things and felt kind of distracting in terms of how they were mixed in terms of like their volume and whatever to the vocal. Because remember, it's important when we're recreating commercials, we have to make sure that these choices that we're making are appropriate for the genre that we're doing. And there are some commercials that do mix the music really loud compared to others. And there are others where the music is very, very quiet for different things. And so it becomes a super important thing to key into to make sure that we're not lending a sense of sameness or like flatlining what could be really great performances with overproduced sound design and music choices.
Because it is a voice demo. It's not a sound design demo.
Correct. And so we want to get excited about your voice and about your vibe and energy, not, whoa, cool, lightsabers and stuff like that. Even though in that particular spot, that's probably one where that stuff would be mixed louder. But
Everything else.
all the other ones before, where the stuff was also really loud all the time, nothing's good all the time, right? So we want variety in there in order to help provide clarity for the listener, so that again, there's no distractions in there.
But I mean, great range, like great commercial range. Like that's what we're talking about when it's like different energy range and different pacing and all that stuff, while feeling authentic to Alexander.
Yeah, and I would say it was 10 seconds over, and so I feel like there's some opportunities if they wanted to like tighten the edit up to lend more of that rapid fire feel, because this voice talent I feel like was kind of going for that.
Yeah.
Shaving off 10 seconds would go a long way to help enhance that feeling of that like boom, 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 boom thing would be kind of cool. Just something to consider. Because for us, when we're approaching demos and we're structuring stuff, the structure of the demo and the order of the spots and all of that stuff, it all plays a role in how people perceive you and your work, right? So we want to be sensitive to all of these things to make sure that we're presenting a cohesive front, that like we don't have this amazing performance and then competing production, or vice versa. Like we want to make sure everything's super dialed in that regard.
Yeah.
Tish, anything to add on Alex?
No,
Alexander?
I think awesome, amazing range performance. Want to get to know him, get a sense of him, and the production also. The production also drew me. Like I was aware of the production as well.
Yeah, cool. Which is cool sometimes, but not all the time.
Yeah. Balance.
Beautiful.
Jason.
I'm looking for something with 4 doors, reasonably priced and has great safety features. What in the world? Or, what in the world is going on? I'm on the market. SimpliSafe. Whole sophistication. The F-Type is a true Jaguar sports car.
So for me, listening to this, I did not like, Jason felt very at ease and very like professional, but that was all that I heard. I was missing a very specific point of view, and I was missing a feeling of like that roller coaster vibe we were talking about of, I like something that I would consider for Jason in this instance is like, what type of energy would I bring if I was out with my friends for a night on the town, compared to what type of energy would I bring if I was chilling on the back porch, like with my dog, compared to what energy would I bring? Yeah, what energy would I bring if I was like helping someone through a problem, compared to what energy would I bring if I was just like chatting with a friend?
Yeah.
I was missing that level of conversational specificity.
Yeah, I really liked the first spot, and then I feel like we didn't go anywhere. And then also, this is the first time that I've noticed this coming up. I believe it was the last Jaguar, that last spot we listened to. Immediately, I turned off because I know that's not how they advertise their cars. That energy and the production choices, it's not how Jaguar does their branding at all. So I was immediately like, oh, this is a demo. So for us, again, what we were saying about authenticity, that's always so important. So you want to be aware of what these brands are doing in their campaigns. So if, let's say I was doing a Jeep spot, right? The Jeep Wrangler right now uses a really rugged sounding guy. So if I put a Jeep Wrangler spot on my demo, for anyone listening who works in Jeep, which are agents, casting, any of those people, that could be a reason for them to turn off and be like, oh, this isn't a real spot. So you want to start thinking about that as well, of like, what are these brands actually using and doing in their current campaigns? Yeah,
with the caveat, or with the understanding that everything changes.
Everything
right?
changes.
One brand will be using like a 60-year-old dude, and then they'll use like a 20-year-old lady, and then they'll use like a kid, and then they'll use whatever.
But there are some certain things that are always the same, even though they change the age or the gender. There are certain things about these big brands that always are pretty consistent. So something to keep in mind.
Indeed. And the reason I say that is just to make sure that it's not a scenario where it's like well, last week they were using this thing, and
Sure.
then this week is my demo wrong now? And no, that's not the case. It's not that sensitive of an issue. It's just making sure that in your preliminary research and in your branding of like what you're trying to convey, that the clients that you're representing on your demo are an actual reflection of what you're bringing, as opposed to, I want to do a Jeep spot, even though Jeep does not use my voice and vibe in their campaigns and haven't for years. It's kind of putting aside that I want to do a Jeep spot and finding something adjacent that more aligns with what you sound like and what your goals are and all of that stuff and what's actually out there. Just to kind of set that caveat, because it's not a scenario where it's like 3 months later you have to redo your demo because a client's branding changed or whatever. That's not what we're saying. What we're saying is just being aware and making these choices up front and making them intentional choices, as opposed to just doing things in a vacuum.
Yeah.
That's all. That's it.
And Tish.
And for me, very clean, very professional sound. Like I got a sense that this is a guy who's done sessions and knows his way around sessions and can hold a session and can hold a campaign, actually. Like it's a quality voice. Um, I actually the Jaguar spot caught my ear because it was something like, ooh, something different. So for me, that was something like, oh, there's something. That's a cool voice. In addition to everything I had heard. And then something that comes to my mind is if you were to compare Jason's demo and Charles's demo, both really super clean, but the good, warm, authoritative, good guy. Um, Again, what is there's that little thing in Bill's voice that made it kind of unique, even though it was sort of warm, authoritative guy. So just figuring out while you're finding your niche, what makes you stand out within that demographic, if there is anything, right? So very, very solid. And what else? Very solid, very professional. And what else could? Yeah.
Yeah. Nice.
Great.
All right, moving on to Alton.
Our lives are made up of moments, which then create memories. By providing quality car care at an honest price, with the future in mind. Bring the whole house to life with the Orba. You can create funky grooves from anywhere. Use it as a MIDI controller.
Tish, what do you think to get us started?
Well, again, a really unique voice. I remember when I was first making my demos and doing things like this early on. Lorenzo Music, it's an old reference because I've been doing this for a really long time. But Lorenzo Music is a character actor from the 70s, and he had a great voiceover career because he did one thing that was sort of deadpan. He was the doorman on Mary Tyler Moore, if anyone's old.
Oh, yeah.
But there's something really unique about Alton's voice that makes me want to go like, oh, that's kind of cool. And then it was kind of the same, and it felt a little the production value could be even more professional. It felt a little not up to the standard that we've been talking about. But intriguing voice. Intriguing voice, not separate, but yeah.
Yeah, super interesting vocal print, which I find really compelling and interesting. And I agree. I feel like it felt like a demo. It didn't feel like real commercials. I didn't like what we were talking about a little earlier with I think it was Lisa. I didn't get a sense of his personality. It all felt the same, and just felt like we were reading copy as opposed to participating in a commercial.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would say if there is kind of one takeaway from the performance side of things, because you can, like, hearing me, the way that I think about demos is I kind of simplify it down into two big camps. As you have the performance aspects and then you have the production aspects.
Yeah.
With the performance aspects, if there was one thing that we would want everybody to come away with today having a clear understanding of and to put energy towards in your own work, is making sure that your performances are specific and making sure that you're bringing your point of view to your work. Nobody wants a blank slate. Yeah. And when we're listening to a demo, especially a commercial demo, I feel like video game and character stuff speaks for itself because we're doing characters, so obviously things are changing. But especially when it comes to commercial stuff, we really want to hear your point of view. And from a client's point of view, the reason why they will hire one voice talent over another is because they want to be associated with what that voice talent is bringing to their brand. So it is not a scenario where the client is just like, oh, we'll take anybody and then we'll just mold them into what we want. In the demo, this is your opportunity to bring your point of view. It's an opportunity to bring your sense of humor, your sense of gravitas, your sense of professionalism, your sense of just life experience, whatever that might be. And brands will want to associate with you because of your point of view. It's not the other way around. So if we can just put that to bed once and for all, let it go, and get rid of this idea of, well, what does the client want? And what is this, whatever?
Show us you.
It's like, just make a choice that's in line with your personality and we'll go from there.
Yeah.
Like your personality should be the most important thing. And that's what I feel like in the last few demos has been a consistent round of feedback of, oh, it just feels like people are reading. Oh, it feels like they're trying to do an idea of what this client is, as opposed to actually doing the research and then bringing their own sensibilities to it.
Right.
So that's just something that Brittany and I talk about all the time with our clients, even during our directing sessions, where it's like, we don't need to punch up the brand name when we're auditioning. It's not special. The brand name wants to be associated with you. You're the special thing.
So show us you in your demo, because it's all about you.
Indeed.
Yeah.
So performance-wise, personality choices.
All right. Andrea.
Audible makes it so easy to listen. If I want to learn about something, laugh about something, like supporting farm workers, communities, and the environment good, sourced for intricate detail. Thank you, Lexus. I like your work. With Skechers Massage Fit Footwear.
All right.
Interesting. I love that first spot. And I love your voice. I love your performance. And as we kept going, I felt like the pacing all stayed the same. Even though we had slight energy shifts, I didn't feel like they were quite big enough. So I would be curious if this actor had bigger energy shifts or different pacing vibes. Because I feel like when she goes out and hangs out with her friends and is talking about something really fun, I don't think this actress talks that slow or that measured. So I'd be curious to hear more, but lots of good stuff in there. Tish, what about for you?
Yeah, for me, this is another thing in terms of shaping and sculpting this experience. Great voice, so applicable in so many ways. But one of the things that struck me was that everything was coming out at me, and there wasn't anything that brought me like in. That everything was coming out at me, not like a scary movie or anything, like not Five Nights at Freddy's, but just the energy was projected and out rather than intimate and then drawing me in. And we all have the power to do both of those things.
Yeah.
So yeah, to find more variation that way.
Yeah.
Indeed. All right.
Well done.
We're not the haves or have-nots. We're in the middle, and families like ours shop at to new adventures. We're your trusted partner. We are. The San Diego Zoo has something for everybody. Turkey will just sit there and stare at you. He's kind of weird like that.
Okay. Cool. I like that. I like that whenever we clicked, we got a different vibe, which was really nice. That middle vibe where it was like really hushed and quiet, I would want to listen in more detail.
Yeah.
Because that one, I was like, I don't know about that one. Like, I don't know if I quite believe that one compared to where we started and where we ended. The San Diego Zoo, I was like, yes, that was amazing. And so, yeah, for me, like, it was a little bit of a mixed bag in that regard. However, listening to the demo, there was nothing super distracting in it. I was able to connect with the range and the different energy that was
Yeah.
there. Vocal print, super cool. And I would want to hear more depending on like what the job is and the specifics of the job. I wouldn't just swipe on it.
And-
It was nice.
And I feel like I know who is it, Tracy or no. Trisha. I'm sorry, I totally butchered your name. Forgive me, I'm terrible with names. But I feel like this actress, I know exactly who she is. She's a mom, she's quirky, she likes to have fun, and she can also be laid back. So I really liked that I know who you are, and I'm like, oh, I know what buckets to put them in.
Which is great, which means that the demo in that regard is working really well because
everything fed that.
Everything was able to support that.
Yeah.
If your branding is something totally different than that, then maybe it's not working so well. It would just depend. But if those
but
are
on this end,
if those are the buzzwords and
Then
that's
great.
what you were aiming for, then mission accomplished.
Yeah.
Great job.
And for me, total spectrum of mom, the full spectrum of mom was in there. I wonder if there might be some even more like even like the intimate one also was on the edge for me there. If there's one that was even more simple, and the kid noise at the very top threw me off for a second. I think the first sound was a kid noise.
Yeah.
And then I was like, oh, wait, what? Oh, okay. Yeah. But then I was right into it. So
Cool.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
So-
Question for the room, just looking at time. Do we want to do like a couple more of these and then move on to the video game and other things so that we have like half an hour or 25 minutes for questions and stuff?
What do you think, Tish? Or just zoom through?
We can't zoom through. It's impossible. We can't zoom through.
How many of the other genres do we have?
We've got like
We have 5 in characters, and then we have 2 in the other.
Okay. Well, why don't we pop through a couple more of these, like maybe another guy, another gal.
Yeah.
And then and everyone who may or may not be listened on this experience, that's okay. We'll call us and
We'll
call
go
us and
through.
we will give you feedback. You can spend time with Brittany and Ryan, you can spend time with me. We will give you feedback.
Indeed.
So
100%.
thank you all
Indeed.
for everybody. Yeah.
Yeah.
See, we warned you guys. We go off on directed tangents.
But it's all applicable. It apply like the same rules apply, and it's all
Yeah.
kind of mindset stuff,
Yeah.
which is great.
All right.
Okay, so
Joseph.
okay, great.
All right, folks. Now let's get down to business.
On Saturday, and let's go big.
Things in common.
Okay, cool. So like at this point, because we've listened to so many other demos, I think the things that this demo isn't doing well are very apparent. And what I would say
this is more of a sample of what this voice actor sounds like and can do versus like a demo where it's like, here's how I plug into commercials and that type of stuff.
Yeah, for sure. I would like, this is the type of thing that like with love and with respect and all of these things is we want to just be really sensitive when we're sharing our work, because people will use what they will take you at your word first.
Mm-hmm.
Like the assumption is that you know what you're talking about. Always. Casting doesn't look at a name in a finder window and go, I don't trust that person just based on their name. You know, like that doesn't happen. And so what we want to make sure of is when we're representing ourselves out there in whatever setting it is, commercial, this also says narration, which we don't want to mix the two. They're completely different clientele, animation, video game, whatever it might be, is it's important to make sure that we are aware of what we're doing so that when people listen to the work, it doesn't,
We're creating trust.
we're creating trust, and it doesn't become a situation where it's just like, no, hard pass. We never want that to happen. We always want it to be like, there's something about this person that I want more from.
Yeah.
And in this instance, this particular product as a demo or as a sample did not provide us that opportunity.
I think that's. Oh, go ahead.
Nope, that's it. That's all I got.
I think this is a really beautiful thing, and thank you for sharing, Joseph, because we all
Yeah,
need to start somewhere. And
absolutely.
sometimes getting started is not having a professionally produced demo. And sometimes we're not ready to produce a demo. And so this is a lovely, like once again, from the heart, beautiful example of if you're not quite clear of what the requirements of a demo are, of having separate demos for separate genres, then maybe there's more understanding how the business works that would be beneficial. And then knowing what a demo can sound like. So this is a great example of if you're not ready to put forth a demo that you can deliver on, that it shows you off in being able to deliver any anything anywhere anytime, that's I'm the person for the job, um, then it's okay. You're not formed yet. So, and then there are ways that you can put simple samples together that are just straightforward, that do just give me a sense of your voice, and I could go like, oh wow, that's a great voice. Um, but in the context of I understand what this is and how I'm putting it forward. So awesome, awesome, Joseph, and great start, and fantastic for putting this in. And
Yeah,
I would say your baby needs to gestate a little bit longer before a demo is birthed.
because we've all started there.
Yeah,
Yeah,
We've all started
exactly.
there.
for sure. For sure.
Let's do Richard and then Kimberly.
Okay,
Yeah.
sure.
You've never heard of Reese's Take 5? Where have you been? Under a rock? Hey, get with it! Products will transform you from an uncut savage into a bearded king. It's a childhood. That's why we're there. For each and every. See, when your man smells like Old Spice, ooh, and welcome home. Pre-order Far Cry 4 for PlayStation.
Okay. Richard, I'm so rooting for you that this I like it like breaks my heart a little bit because I'm like so rooting for you, but there's so many things that are getting in your like we're tripping over ourselves with this demo and making it harder for people to connect with you with some very basic essential things. First of all, it's 1 minute 46 seconds long. Holy Toledo Batman.
Yeah.
That is almost a minute too long. We got to get it down to 60 seconds, big time.
Because your voice is fantastic.
Because you have a great voice, and there are some great moments in there that I was like, wow, that's interesting. But there are so many other distracting things in there in terms of some of the production choices and the overall pacing and some very just basic, like it's almost like the scaffolding was letting you down and was becoming a distraction because your vocal print, your vocal energy, and I was getting some different range vibes from you at different times, but it was all being shrouded behind, I see that this is 1 minute 46 seconds long. I can hear that these production choices feel like they're kind of random as opposed to being made for a specific thing. And it felt to me like a demo, and it breaks my heart because I was like, that first spot, I was like, like, let's do it. And then the next one, I was like, oh no, what happened?
Interesting note here. Richard texted me directly, direct messaged me, that this is a he has newer reels for other genres. I'm assuming more recently the commercial is from 2019, and he said, my confidence and ability behind the mic has matured since then. I intend to update it or deliver it. Here's a gauge to know what needs improvement. So well done. I mean, that's strategic. Then you know exactly
So smart.
where you're at. And then I think it goes back to this understanding that your first demo is never your last demo. It's always evolving. And it's kind of like little kids, right? You don't buy one pair of shoes for your kid and then that's all the shoes you get. Like you keep on growing and changing and expanding, and then the market shifts and you adjust. So to understand that it's always an evolving thing, and that we are always growing and having more experience and getting better and deeper and truer. So thanks, Richard, for sharing that insight.
Yeah, thanks, Richard. We're all rooting for you.
Well, and I will, knowing that, what I would focus on for your next demo is I want to hear more of you as opposed to, because you have a great announcer voice. We got the announcer thing. Now, who are you as a human in conversation?
Yeah, and
That's what I would lean
I think
into.
on this one too, like there's things that are funny, but they weren't really funny. Like it was kind of working at funny.
Yeah.
So what is just like boom, that's just funny.
Yeah.
Right? Oh, that made me laugh out loud. Ah, I totally recognize that, dude, when that happens, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
But when it's supposed to, it's kind of funny. But yeah, that's something else too that ties in with what Brittany's saying. What's your funny?
Yeah.
Yeah. Good.
Well,
So
let's
let's-
listen to Kimberly, and
we're
then
we're
we'll.
gonna skip Kimberly because this is one single spot,
Oh.
so it's not.
Oh,
Okay,
okay.
so we'll do
So
a
we're gonna
full.
we're gonna go up here to Elizabeth, and then that's a full demo,
Cool.
or closer to a demo because I can tell by the file size.
Cool.
All right, let's give this a try.
This summer, cool down with something tropical and refreshing. Destapa el Tropico. We breathe in the air that nature provides. By reducing our fossil fuel consumption, technology has arrived. As simple as typing, cancel all my meetings for the day. S90 Recharge with leading-edge hybrid technology and driving assistance. All powered.
Cool stuff in
There
there.
is some cool stuff. I love your voice, and it's so really good job not trying. For those of us who have younger sounds, I love that you didn't try and make yourself sound older in certain spots.
For
It
sure.
felt authentically you the entire time. And I don't know what your background is, but I love in that first spot, you gave us a little flavor of whatever your background is that I loved. I was like, ooh, I'm interested in this. I want to hear more. I would be interested to listen to the full demo to see if you can go out of that laid back, relatable, relaxed place to see if we can be a little more forward or a little more excited or something like that.
Or more intimate or whatever it might be.
Something. But I mean, everything I heard, I believed. So really great job.
Bravo.
Yeah.
And I heard I like the voice, like the thing, like particularly the that's what I do at my work. Like that really caught my ear. A lot of beach sounds in the first two that I was like, oh, thank goodness, a clear spot. So I think that you have more strength and it could be, I think you have lots more things that could be presented in a much clearer and impactful way than this demo serves you.
Mm-hmm.
That it's kind of right there, but this is a little muddied.
Yeah.
I almost want to style it like, like, oh, okay, you have this kind of figure. Let's put this outfit on you, and boom, that's or, that makes your like so there's like the things are there. I think this is a very a kind of muddied version of what I think you could probably deliver.
Mm-hmm. For sure. And as a reminder, before we move on out of commercial realm, Kelsey is putting links throughout the chat as we go so that people can get on a 15-minute, no obligation call with us.
And with Tish.
And Tish is making her calendar open as well for consultations and stuff. And so if we didn't listen to your commercial demo today, that is not your last opportunity. Reach out to us, get on our calendar.
Or if you want more questions and more in-depth about your demo that we didn't listen all the way through, get on our calendar.
Absolutely.
There's
Absolutely.
also a little interesting conversation happening in the chat about understanding different markets. Nick is in the works in the Canadian and American market.
Yeah.
Richard said worked in the UK. What's your thoughts about that? I think it's just kind of if you are working in a market, kind of get a sense of what is the standard working in your market, and then if you're working internationally, understand that it might be different in different places.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess you would possibly want to have the least common denominator, then it would work anywhere. But however you approach it. But I think it's having the awareness of what the, and I think just in general, everyone in the world's attention span is kind of 1 minute, no matter where you are. But
Yeah. I would
That's
agree. And
very-
for us, we've worked with clients internationally as well on multiple different demos. And what we have found through talking with people and through our research and stuff, even internationally outside of the US, the basic principles are the same. You know, if your demo's 2 minutes, can you really fill 2 minutes of a bunch of different stuff that's going to leave them wanting more? Maybe, but that's something to look at of like, I always think less is more because we want to say, like we were talking earlier, we want people to ask for more from you, want to be interested from you lengthwise. So yeah, it's something to talk about. It's something to be really clear about what your goals are and what you're going for, and then just going from there.
Yeah. It really comes down to awareness.
Yeah.
And just being, rooted in authenticity and what's happening, and being willing to do that research or like seek out that advice before you jump in and do a thing.
So now we're moving into character stuff. And so I think they're all video game and creature. Okay, great. Because this is a question we get a lot, I always like to bring this up of 20 years ago, having a character demo was great. Now, because video games is its own industry, animation is its own industry, just like we were talking about with commercial, think about what your goal is and who this demo is going to be for. If you're wanting to go for Disney, Nickelodeon, Cartoon Network, all that stuff, those casting directors are going to be listening for things that are very different than Blizzard and, Epic Games and all of those people. So get really clear about what kind of actor you are, what your goals are, and then make your character choices and performance choices from there. What kind of demo you're going to do. And I feel like that always helps simplify of like, should I get all the demos? You don't need all the demos. Just start with one, start with where your interests predominantly lie or where your strengths predominantly are, and then go from there. So
and also I think a lot of people are drawn to voiceover because their heartbeat resonates with animation. That's the goal, that's the dream. And in some ways with animation, I'm just going to kind of put this out there as an idea. In some ways, animation is so incredibly competitive. And the reason that you see the same people doing doing all the things is because there's something that needs to be delivered at a certain level, and those people always deliver it. And so those casting directors and producers and directors always go like, oh, I know that person can always bring it. So if your dream is to be in animation, it behooves you to really, and we were just talking about a gestation period for your commercial demo and understanding who you yourself are in a commercial realm being a foundation for other things as well. But like being really ready to make an animation demo and really know what that is and what is required, because everything on a demo, guys, you can work with if you have a modicum of anything and you work with a really good producer, the really good producer will like do a glow up and make you make you sound great. If you can't deliver what's on your demo, that is not going to be used. In fact, it's going to kind of probably like, no, I don't think piss people off. I don't think people care that much, but be like, oh, wait, I was expecting something this, and you really can't. Or if someone brings you in and you can't deliver, that's like, oh, okay, that's a thing. So if this is your love, then love it and live it and be ready to create a competitive demo, not just a demo for a demo's sake. That's I will step off my soapbox there.
Well, for this one, let's start at the top with Amanda, and we'll work our way down.
Beautiful.
All you villains in the cheap seats, pay the fuck attention! Stacy, no! Once we get to the top, there's no turning back. But to everyone back home, due in no small part to young explorers such as yourselves. Ah, damn it!
And piss off, you daffy old loon! Well then, now that we're a party of two, what do you say we go into the...
So with this, I thought it was an animation demo, just listening to it. The performances feel so elevated and so extraordinary, and the voice types and the action and the production all fits in animation. I wouldn't say anything we listen to lives. I couldn't tell you any video game that any of those characters and scenes would fit in. I would also say that at a lot of moments, the production way swallowed your performances. So I was so distracted about what was going on. It became a sound design demo as opposed to what can you do as an actor. I also felt that we didn't get to hear your natural voice. In today's market for animation and video game, across the board, what casting directors and agents are listening for, they want to know who you are and hear you as a character in your natural voice in extraordinary circumstances.
First, on your demo. That sets the benchmark.
That sets the benchmark because it allows you to say, okay, here's this person if they showed up, and here's the type of character they naturally would be, and then you take us on a ride. So I think you did not set yourself up for success by having it be through a megaphone, and then it all got kind of confusing. So I would say, Amanda, if I was coming at this demo again, I would say play some video games or watch some gameplay, figure out what kind of games you want to go towards and what your goals are, and then craft performances and voices that fit towards those games, as opposed to just doing voices, creating scenes.
Right. Because it's really important, just like in the commercial realm, with video games, video game casting people, video game directors, video game companies, they want to feel that you're immersed in their world.
Yeah.
And so it's kind of like a threshold of respect, right? Where like, I know what video games are, I play them, and like, here is what I've done, and here I'm coming to you with this knowledge, and I'm presenting you something that I know is helpful to you.
Yeah.
As opposed to, I would say this falls into that category of, like Brittany said, it definitely leans more animation, and it feels more distracting than anything else. And it almost feels like you're trying to give like somebody who's vegan, like a plate of beef or something. Like, it's like, here's this thing that is not helpful for you.
But I made it.
But I made it. And it's like, we can do so much better than that. Cause I know, Amanda, like hearing some of your performances, like you have some great range, and there's some great acting moments in there, but all of that is for nothing if we can't hear it, if we can't connect to it, if we can't feel like we're getting something that we in some way, shape, or form expect. And like playing a lot of video games myself, and like being a part of the industry and writing music for games and just being a part of that world, these things don't feel like gameplay. They feel like snippets from television shows.
Yeah.
And so it's something to, really strongly consider and think about. Or just relabel it if you want to go into animation stuff.
I think it could use. I think it's a little blurry as well. That same feeling that I had with Ellie's. It's a little blurry. Like there's good stuff in there. It's just a little blurry. So how can it be even clearer for what you want to do and what you're.
And like we were talking about with the commercials, animation and video game demos, I know you guys are going to be upset. It's only 60 seconds. Leave them wanting more. So I feel like, Amanda, there's so much you could cut to make it more clear, like exactly what Tish was saying, so it doesn't feel all blended.
Indeed.
Anyway.
Let's check out another one. Let's see what this one is.
Welcome to the mire. The missions are grueling and the food shit. But it's the
best goram job in the soul gear I can protect the whole town. Ain't who you think I am. Deliver excuses. Bit of advice for you. Choose your victim wisely.
And be in outer reaches.
Interesting. This right out the gate, this feels like a game
Yeah,
demo, which is
feels-
great. Like it definitely did not feel like an animation
No,
stuff.
yeah.
It felt like we were listening to video game type performances, stakes, and scenes,
Agreed.
which I really liked. But there was also some big things that were kind of distracting for me.
Yeah, I would say there were a lot of like that first spot really grabbed me, and then there were a couple of others like the accent was really cool. But then I started noticing even with the creature stuff, the pacing for all the characters stayed the same. And when we do character voices, especially creatures, we need to make sure that our pacing is very varied. Because like a young excitable creature that had that small voice, like that little buggy thing we heard at the end, it felt unnatural that he was speaking so slow. So it's being aware of varying up our pacing as well as our voice. And I would say in some of these spots, I wish there was more production because it didn't feel quite right. Like it felt like it was missing something for me in a couple of places. But listening all the way through, it might not have felt that way. But but I mean, definitely felt like a video game demo. Yeah.
Yeah, because it put you in the moment. I mean, the different one of the differences between video games and animation is animation has the fourth wall, and we are watching it. The characters are in that world. We're in our world. We're watching it. In video games, we're in the world with the character, whether we're the player and interacting with others, or whoever. We're in the world. So there was a lot of just taking time with the acting beats in this that allowed like the little little being live in the moment that made me feel like, oh, I'm in the game. And then the old lady looks at me like that, and then she cocks her gun like, whoa, what's happening, right? Like that those things. And yeah, I agree too that the clarity of the voice is what we've been looking for, right? Like, ooh, that's super clear, and what she can do with her voice and the range. But then that little bit more, not just the voice. And I think for me, the top was stronger than the bottom.
I would agree 100%.
Yeah. And I feel like this is a really important thing is remember that just like a piece of music, a demo, like everything on a demo comes linearly. We can't take it all in one go. So we're always listening and comparing to what is now to what came before.
Mhm.
So openings are really important, like very important for setting expectations and also being really aware of the order of things and how they show up, making sure that we're painting this really vivid, clear, exciting picture and we're not flatlining things just because the order isn't quite right. And so just something to keep in mind is that it's remember that as a tool, it is like a piece of music in that regard. So we want to make sure that everything that happens is there for a reason and it happens in a very excitable, cool order that supports your branding.
Keep us on that roller coaster.
Keep us on that roller coaster.
All right. Mary.
And along that lines, another thing that sometimes when you have the pieces of your demo, it's like moving furniture around or putting different colors behind something, like changing the colors behind something. Oh, if you put this color next to this color comes forward. But if you change this color, then this color then this color comes forward. So at that stage of demo making, it is like rearranging the furniture to get the right feng shui, or which color goes next that makes one look different. So Yeah. This is interesting
Absolutely.
that these are all interactive or video games
I
demos. We're
know.
not
Isn't that interesting?
any animation video games. So
Yeah.
let's keep that in mind, guys. We aren't listening to animation demos right now. We're listening to video game demos.
Indeed. Great.
Can you believe the nerve of that old bat? Can't you see I have more important things to do than hounding you as I speak? You're under arrest for bank robbery and the murder of the Sperryville sheriff. To get their vitality elixir back to the castle to save the prince. The letter can I know, sweetheart. Look what they did to him. There has to be a cure.
So I would say now we're back in animation world a little
It
bit.
feels a little more animated.
Like, I just want to do a quick, I just want to play the first few seconds of this, and then I want to back up to the demo we had before.
Yeah,
And I just want
so
you to
you guys can feel the
difference.
Can you believe the nerve of that old bat? Can't you see I have more important things to do than
Welcome to the mire. The missions are grueling and the food shit.
Like, can everybody just feel, I know the scene is very different.
Yeah.
Like, one's more kooky, but can you feel just how energetically it's so different? That's what we're talking about, is we're talking about making sure that all of our choices that we're including on the demo actually are there in support of what we're trying to do. Because in this instance, we're trying to book more video game work, and it doesn't serve this actor and it doesn't serve the clients if everything on here feels like it's meant for something else.
Although it did seem kind of fun and in the realm of animation. There was some good variations and really clear choices. And there's also something about the last piece that I think is important about video games. Video games can take you to the animation takes you to extremes of emotions in sort of in a cartoony way, right? Oh, we're blasting off a thing, or a head comes off, or blah, right? It can go in that way. In video games, it's sort of the depth of reality of what can happen to you. So, in you should do voiceover launchpad. We talk about, in one moment you might be required to do something like, can you pass me the salt? Yeah. Okay, thanks. Like that simple. And then the next is, my child, my child, what's happening to my child? Oh God! Right? Like that in that same audition, or in that same what that character needs to go through, it can be the most mundane, simplest thing to really extreme heightened emotion of being set on fire or killed by aliens or whatever the hell's happening to you. And you have to be able to go boom, 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 but really be in it as well. So that started to happen, that taking it to the emotional depths that I think a video game can and does take us to.
For those of you who are interested in hearing more of a difference between animation and video game, especially in demos where people are working or have been working or already doing these things, go to our website at nextlevelvoicedemos.com, and there we have a bunch of different samples of animation and video game demos we've done, and you can hear such a difference between the performance aspects, because a lot of those demos on our especially character demos on our website are people who are working in animation and video game right now. So you can hear what kind of that high level of those types of demos sound like, and feel the difference between the two in a more dramatic way.
Indeed.
So Tish, let's listen to one more, and then we'll swap over to questions.
Yeah, we want to have time for questions.
I think that is good. Yeah.
So
we got to finish up on time today.
So Robert has a creature demo.
Great. Maybe not. Hold on. There we go. Cool.
I have two thoughts.
Go ahead.
I have two thoughts. One, when it comes to creatures, even though we're not speaking words, scene work is so important.
Yes, that was what I was going to say.
And so each of these creatures, it just felt like they were eating. And we didn't feel any emotional stakes. Like when D. Bradley Baker is doing Appa, or any of the other millions of creatures that he does, because he's a genius, I can feel the emotion even though he's just like making animal noises. So if creature work is something you're really interested in and you're able to sustain those voices for 4 hours, which is part of the technique of doing creature stuff, which is fantastic. I can't do it. So kudos to you. If that's something you're interested in, when you're putting together creature stuff, think about your scene and make each creature be in a different emotional setting or doing a different activity. So that way we can feel the difference between each creature and their emotional depth, because that's what's going to book you a job. Anybody can do the snorty noises, but what's going to separate you from everybody else is your acting. When it's called voice acting, the voice is second. Acting is the most important thing. The scene work is the most important thing. If you focus on that and then bring in all those creature stuff, you're going to be golden.
And physicality as well. Is this a tiny creature and does it have a pointy nose? Yep. Is this a giant creature and has a big ass as big as the house, right? Like whatever that is. Just so Ty doesn't have to go to the therapist, can we just listen to theirs? They wrote, my last name screws me again. Can we just do 1 minute and dig a little quick?
Oh, sure, you got to share your screen.
Oh, sure. Let me reshare everything.
And then and if you guys have questions, put them in the chat, and then Kelsey will call you in to your questions.
Here we go.
If you're listening to this, there's food in the cupboards and ammunition out in the garage. Of them.
Trains and me have in common. Everyone gets upset when we stop working.
The truth is, we won't stop until every human is dead.
My senses indicate sadness in your eyes, but all passengers' vitals happen during the collision I do not understand.
I love that first spot. Like, I think that it felt natural and it felt grounded and connected. And I didn't even mind that it felt like it was coming over a radio because I believed it so much.
Yeah, it's very Last of Us.
Yeah, but it felt really long because when we clicked to the next one, I felt like it was still going. And then I feel like there were some great vocal moments, but I didn't feel the scene work and the specificity as much as I did in the first spot. Because the first spot was so specific and I knew what was happening. Yeah. Everything else just felt like a vocal choice and the stakes were supported by the music or the sound design, but there wasn't anything happening. So when we do a video game demo, and your voices are great, this is super nitpicky. We want to, like when we have those creature things, what is he doing? Is he eating? Is he punching somebody? Is he running somewhere? Is he super mean and aggro and angry about something? We need to get even more specific about our scene work, who we're talking to, why we're saying these things, and what we're doing, what action we're doing. And each character should feel very different. They should each have different emotional beats.
Yeah, because it's like when we're playing a game, even the non-player characters that you like pass by on your horse, where you're like, later, dude, they're doing stuff.
Yeah.
Like they're farming, or they're engaged in a conversation, or they're like whatever. And then of course our main characters are always doing something. They're always on the go. Hearing that in the vocal is so key to these demos that we should be able to tell, like our goal whenever we're working with somebody on any sort of character demo, whether it's animation or video game, is can we hear the physicality in just the vocal? And then we bring in the supportive elements to just provide a little bit more context. But like we should be able to tell exactly what this character is doing at any given moment, what the stakes are, if they're being chased, if they're being whatever. Just on the vocal by itself, which is where the art and craft of the video game acting and character acting comes in.
But good job. It's very clear of being a video game demo. So good job.
Indeed, it is very clear.
And I also think that this is a really nice, if you notice the notes here about how do we go more in depth? I thought that was a really nice range of, there's lots of different games that, like, you understand video games, you understand that there's lots of different kinds and you can do that. So these are great. This is a layer of notes of, how do you take it to even the next level? That's really good. So well done.
A great opener. Keep that.
Yeah.
Bravo, everyone. Thank you. I know this is, we pack in a lot. Pack in a lot of stuff. Thanks for sticking with us.
What questions do you guys have? What came through for you? What was, what was helpful? What questions do you have? What are you wondering? Yeah. Let's see. Put them in the chat.
Yeah, I have Brett. Yeah, I have a list.
Okay, cool.
Brett, come on up.
PDF. Oh no, there he is.
Oh,
Yeah.
you
Can you hear me?
There you go.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you so much, you guys. That was really helpful. I'm new. Started in February with Tish and the group.
Great. Welcome.
Thanks. Yeah, that really helped me to kind of really hone down and look at what I should obviously focus on as a commercial. But I had some basic questions. It was in the beginning. Now I think I've answered all my questions. So equipment, but I can talk to Tish and the group about that later.
And you can also get on our calendar as well if you have any other specific questions about like equipment stuff, because that's
the one thing about that is good to note about equipment and demos is if you are making a demo, your studio should be ready to do work. And if you are recording your demo in your studio, your studio should be ready to do your demo. So again, that's a little bit like where are we at in our development? But if you're ready to go with your work, with your skills, with your confidence, with your clarity, with your understanding your product, and you're ready to go with your demo, then your studio needs to be
set up
with that as well. Even if you're going to someplace else to do it, because when we put this demo out, people are auditioning your demo as well. And Brittany and Ryan, to a certain extent will help you fine tune, but they need a studio to fine tune. They're not going to build your studio.
Right. No, absolutely.
There are people better at that.
I just thought maybe because Ryan's technical background, he might have a specific brand that he recommends.
No, we can talk
later.
That's a question for another call. But great to note.
And you can get on our
I do have just real quickly, when you do work with people and you do set up demos, should I bring some text to the table, or do you customize that for me, or how does that work?
That's a really great question. So every demo producer is different.
Yeah.
Everybody has a different process and what they do. For Ryan and I, our stuff is so research-based and authentic. Like, as we've been saying all day, authenticity is the key to demos. And that begins with the script. So we never expect an actor to come to scripts to us.
To bring scripts
to us. We write all original scripts for all of our clients, whether it's commercial, video game, promo, animation, whatever it is. So for us, bring all your materials. Like if you have stuff that you're interested in, bring it. We would love to chat through it and collaborate through those things, but we don't put that responsibility on the actor. That's our job.
About to say,
let us take that away from you.
Yeah. Cool. Okay. Cool.
Great question. Thanks, Brad.
All right. I have Robert up next. If you have a question, please drop it in the chat because I got a little bit of a line going on here.
Perfect.
Robert, are you here?
Yep, he's right there. I can see him. Hey, Robert.
Right here.
Oh, I see
Hey,
you.
how's it going? Oh, hey. Okay, so I think I've asked this. Oh yeah, I think I've asked this question earlier in the chat, but what is your number one, like, what is something that kind of, how can I phrase this? What is the biggest turnoff when you're listening to professionally made demos? something that can immediately, where you listen to a demo and you're like, nope, and then just move on to the next? What's
Great
the
question.
number that kind of is your pet peeve?
I
I
have-
want to know.
You're being recorded.
I have one. No. I have one. When I listen to a demo, I should not be able to tell which demo production company did your demo. I should only be focused on the actor and what the actor is bringing. If I can say, oh, that's a so-and-so demo, I'm not hearing you.
So yes, so
that is my biggest pet peeve.
And I was gonna say the same.
And we've
one.
heard it from agents too.
Yeah, is the demo producer is not the star of your demo.
Nope.
You are the star of your demo. Your demo producer's job is to support you in whatever ways you're hiring them to do. And for Brittany and I, that's collaboration on your branding, that's specificity of acting and characters, that's scene work, that's super physical acting in the booth to make sure we can hear all of the nuance of those characters, all of your point of view in those commercials, and then also supporting all of those brilliant acting choices and all of that work with meaningful sound design and music that feels authentic to where these things actually live.
Yeah. Our demos will never sound the same.
So we do not have a cookie cutter formula. We do not whatever, like everything that we do with each one of our clients over the last 10 years is always from scratch and completely original. And that's the best
'Cause
way.
it's actor first.
Exactly.
If anyone comes from the on-camera world, sometimes when headshot photographers, it's a similar thing.
Yes.
Like, oh, it's fantastic, it's a beautiful headshot, but every girl has this was back in the day, but every girl had a black shirt with spaghetti straps and a certain lighting, and every guy had this. It's like that becomes the style of the photographer, which is lovely, but yeah. Good.
Indeed.
Excellent.
Great question, Robert. Thank you. And then, Kelsey, just for time, if you just want to read off the questions, that way we can get through a few more before we run out, because we do have to end right at the top of the hour today.
Cool.
Okay. Someone said, is 1 minute the standard? I think you already answered this.
Yeah.
How accurate can others' production quality be for me? How do I make sure a producer is the good fit? Is what Paul Rogas asks.
Great question.
That is a great question. There's a couple of things I tell people, whether they work with us or whoever. There's a couple of questions you should ask every demo producer that you approach. And you should talk to a few before you decide on one.
And you should not have to take classes or pay for any sort of conversation or dialogue with them.
So first, will they talk to you for free and have like a consultation for free where you can ask some questions, get to know them, and get to know their process?
Like we offer a 15-minute no obligation chat for you to get a feel for us and our vibe so that you can make an informed choice.
And so does the dojo. Also, are they currently working in the industry? Not just doing demos. Do they also work in animation? Do they work in video games if they're doing those types of demos for you? Are they working in commercials? Have they worked in commercials? It doesn't matter what they've done in those things, but they should be currently working. If they worked 20 years ago and just make demos now, your demo is going to sound old. We've had it happen so many times. So make sure that they're currently working in the industry in some way, shape, or form in the genre of demo that you're approaching them for. Also, do they write original scripts? Do they expect you to bring them? Or do they pull them out of a box?
Mm-hmm.
The choice is yours, but it's good to know going in. Most of the places that we recommend and what we do, write all original scripts. That's what I think should be the standard, but everybody feels differently about it. So just make sure you know what you're getting into. Also, do they provide direction during your session? That is very important because some will expect you to do all the work and they just say, okay, great. Are you happy with that? Moving on. So that's it.
We are not that way.
We don't do that.
We're very involved.
We're very hands-on. And then my last question, what is their turnaround time for your demo?
Mm-hmm.
There are some demo houses that you will record your demo and not even get a first draft back before 6 months. Our process, you get it in 10 days.
And it's finished.
And it's finished. It's not even a draft. It is a finished demo in 10 days from your recording date. So know what the, and that's just so you guys can kind of understand a range of the expectation. So what is their turnaround time, and does that work for you? Because some people want to get it done faster. For me, I think that's too much, but
yeah,
that's just me.
At the core of it, if you should be able to talk to anybody you're thinking of working with, get a feel for them first. Make sure that you can find them and see what their work is and that you can hear their work.
Yep. If they don't have demos on their website, do not work with them.
Run away.
Run away.
Scatter. You should be able to hear what you're buying.
Yeah.
You should be able to hear what they've done for other people, and you should like what you hear and be curious to investigate them. Yeah. So it's really just about finding the right fit in that regard. But great.
That was a great question.
Next question.
Yes. So Alexander Andrews Viadiel asks, if something like, let's say your producer makes the demo a little too loud, is it okay to follow up with them and be like, hey, can you turn down this and this? I can't really hear myself.
Oh, sure. Like if there's a mix issue, like if the production elements are, absolutely. Yeah, of course. Okay. Like, and here's the part about where research becomes a thing too, right? Is people who are producers who are actively working in the industry that they're making your demo, they will have a much stronger sensibility of how those mix balances are and how to vary them to support the variety and nuance of the demo. Some of those, like we heard today, where everything was just loud, no, not great. But having one spot be like different than another, because if everything's quiet, then nothing's quiet. Yeah. If everything's loud, then nothing's loud, right? So you should absolutely feel empowered to reach out to your demo producer and request changes. For us, we have that baked into our process as well. Obviously, we're very sensitive to those things at the get-go. So like those conversations are not a surprise. Like we're very aware of what that entails, but we also make ourselves available and have that as part of our process as well, to where if you've road tested your demo and you get some feedback on it, or if you have questions, or if you get confused about mixed feedback or a thing, again, every demo producer is different, but we, have some revisions baked into all of our processes so that when you road test that demo and you get that feedback, if you need to make some adjustments, we totally can, and we'll chat about it together. Very collaborative in that regard. So you should always feel empowered to do that. And if your demo producer won't do it, I'll do it for you.
Awesome. Thank you guys so much. I think we're coming up to the top of the hour. So we wanted to take a picture for our socials.
Yeah.
If you want to turn your camera on.
Let's do it.
Okay, let me.
Everyone quick, do your hair.
I have no
Make
hair.
Sure, make sure you have a shirt on, whatever.
Beautiful.
Make sure.
People
You're going to give us a 1, 2, 3?
Yes, I will. Let me get everyone over to the same screen here. Sorry.
Hold on 1 second.
Beautiful.
All right, y'all ready?
Pretty faces.
Okay. Say demo.
Demos.
Demos. Okay, stay. Everybody stay. I got to get the second page. Hold on. Okay, 3, 2, 1. Demos again. There we go.
Bravo.
Gotta make sure I got everybody.
Bravo.
Well,
thank you guys so much for being a part of this today. It means so much that you spent 2 hours with us and you listened to all of our crazy, and hopefully you got a real sensibility of some actionable things that you can apply and mindsets that you can take forward with you as you continue on, or if you're about to make a demo, or if you've made your demo, how to rethink about some things, or whatever that might be. But, to make it clear, Brittany and I, we love what we do. We've been doing demos now for over 10 years this year. And so we are fully available for any questions, any support that you might need at any point in time. You can always get on our calendar with that Kelsey's put links to in the thing at nextlevelvoicedemos.com. And we would love to hear from you. Yeah. We're here to help in whatever way we can.
And it's always so nice working with Tish and the Dojo, because they have created such a great supportive system for people who are interested and want to learn more and get more. And we all kind of, because we've been working together for 6 years, Tish. It's like, oh God, time.
Yeah.
It just is such a wonderful collaborative process, and it has such a great community. So, get on our calendar, get on Tish's calendar. Like, we love hearing from all of you.
Yeah. And we're here literally to support you from I don't know to working pro. But there's a continuum of that journey, and that's what the dojo does. It's easy to go, oh, I got something here, I got something here, I got something here, and there is great value in that. And then there's something about having a through line when you're going through these parts or starting. Yeah. And that's what we're about. And mostly it's about getting to know you and seeing how we can be here to support you in whatever way we can. So look forward to getting to spend 15 minutes with each and every one of you. And thank you again for coming, and thank you, Kelsey, for keeping everything rolling.
Yeah, thank you, Kelsey.
Rocked it.
Yeah, and if you know someone else who should take this in, we will be having a replay, so have them sign up, and yeah, have a great rest of your day, and thanks so much. We'll see you
Bye,
later.
everybody.
Guys,
Thank
have
you.
fun. Have a good
Bye.
night.
Hey, thank you.
Bye.
Bye.